Testing, testing.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. Let's go.
Whew, what a week it's been.
Truly. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emily, and welcome to What a Week.
You want it, we got it. We're bringing you the top internet culture stories you need to be in the know.
Let's dive right in.
Okay, so this week's episode is our very last of 2020, which is so weird to say.
So wild.
Like this year is going to be soon behind us, hopefully.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. We're going to get into some of our biggest favorite stories of the year. But first things first, we're going to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine. So the FDA has given emergency use authorization to vaccines from both Pfizer and Moderna. Each of these vaccines require 2 injections. One is 21 days apart and one's like 25 days apart. And each of them have a 94 to 95% efficacy rate. California itself will receive about 2.1 million doses by the end of the year. Healthcare workers and residents at long-term care facilities will be vaccinated first. Then will be essential workers, high-risk people, and people who are over 65. Everyone else should have access beginning early spring, and experts are optimistic that everyone can be vaccinated by June. Now, if 75 to 85% of Americans get the vaccine, we can, quote, approach very much some degree of normality by the end of 2021, according to Dr. Fauci. Getting this percentage of people vaccinated will give us a blanket of herd immunity, which means enough people are immune to the virus, making the spread from person to person very unlikely. But just a reminder, the vaccine is not a substitute for public health measures like mask wearing and social distancing.
We know you may have a bunch of questions about actually getting the COVID vaccine. To talk more about actually being part of the Moderna Covid vaccine trial, we're speaking to journalist Will Fritz.
Hello.
Hi.
So
Thank
happy
you
to be
for
here.
joining us. I know, we're so happy to
Yes.
have you.
Yes, awesome. I take a sip of my coffee. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're going to ask you
The
hard-hitting
mug
questions.
is the best part, everyone.
Can you show everyone the mug?
Oh my God.
It needs its moment.
It says a man has to do what he has to do. I don't know. It's something from Peanuts. My aunt got it for me. I don't know.
I love it.
It's so good.
It adds a little spice to this conversation.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad I'm not drinking out of the one that says. My roommate has this mug that says this might be vodka.
That's really spicy.
Yeah, I know. There have been numerous
Oh,
occasions
man.
where I've been like about to go on a work Zoom call, and I've been like, "Oh, I should probably not be drinking out of this mug." If you're not doing that. But anyway, I digress.
Anyway, so again, thank you so much for joining us, Will. First things first, what made you want to participate in the trial for the COVID vaccine?
So I actually ended up doing it because I guess my mom had joined one probably like a couple months before me, like in, I don't know, June or July or something. And my mom had been trying to get me to do it just for the sake of, having a shot at getting the vaccine, like not even necessarily like, I mean, not, don't get me wrong, like the wanting to be part of the science and help everybody was part of it. But but also like, at the same time, like this is like a 50-50 shot at getting like the vaccine before everybody else. And like by the time it's gone to, I know that there's a lot of like people have a lot of worries about it being tested and stuff, and I don't want to be a guinea pig, but like by the time it's in the 3rd phase of human testing where it's going out to 30,000 people, like they have an idea of its safety, like obviously it's still being tested. They're not like 100% sure, and there were like, I think with AstraZeneca there was like one person who had a bad reaction and they had to take that person out of the trial. But like for the most part, when it's going to 30,000 people, they know that it's not going to kill you though,
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, like my mom was telling me like, you should get it just for the sake of, you could be vaccinated. Like it's going out to a lot of people, like you might as well, and they pay you for it. So I mean, like I just kind of thought like literally, why not? It did not seem like a difficult decision to me.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay, so tell us about the whole process. Like, were you nervous? What was it like? Tell us how it went.
Yeah, no, it was weird because I was in like I had for my first evaluation where they like decide like I think they had to run like blood tests and stuff just to make sure I'm like was not already infected with the virus and like and make sure that I don't have like oh god, I don't remember now, but like they did have to do blood tests and stuff. But I like, was told like, you're doing it through Moderna, like you're going to this facility like in La Mesa, near Sharp Rosemont Hospital. So like I went down there, and I was there for like a few hours while they like drew my blood and asked me questions and stuff. And so only people who were like considered in like at risk, either at risk careers or who are at risk because of their housing situations are supposed to be able to be in it. So like, but since I'm a reporter, but I did, and especially over the summer, maybe not so much now, but especially over the summer, I was at like protests like every week, multiple times a week and stuff. Like I went to Arizona to cover the vote count protests and stuff. So like I was in crowds like a lot, and so that's kind of what I told them. I'm like, okay, like I'm not like not like a fast food like retail worker or something, but like I still am interacting with lots of people. So like like I think I qualify, and they agreed and gave me or they allowed me to take part in the trial. And so they don't tell you, it's a double-blinded study. So the person administering the shot to you and you yourself, you have no idea what you're getting. You could either get placebo or get the experimental vaccine. The Moderna vaccine is an mRNA vaccine, so it's not, it's not live virus. They're injecting you with some of the proteins that the virus has, so your body knows to attack those proteins if the virus enters your system. So I wasn't, getting injected with COVID or anything. But so yeah, I was not told, what I would be getting, and I still, now that the vaccine has been approved, I will be told, or I will have an opportunity to be told.
And so let's say you got first, do you think you got the placebo, or do you think you got the actual vaccine?
Yeah, so I definitely I strongly suspect I got the actual vaccine. I'll talk a little bit about what the process was of getting the injections and like what my symptoms were. So you have to get 2 injections for this trial, at least 2 injections 4 weeks apart. And so I got my first injection in September, and I developed not really bad symptoms or anything, but like I did have a little bit of a fever. I did feel like some chills at night and stuff. And so I kind of even based on that, because like the placebo is just like a saline fluid or something, so like that's like not going to give you like any symptoms really. So like even just based on that, I was kind of like, okay, like I feel like I probably did get it, but my symptoms weren't that serious on that injection. On the second injection, which was a month later, and I don't want to say this to scare. I'm not scaring. I don't want to scare anybody from getting the vaccine, because it's not like it's super dangerous or it gave me all these symptoms where I felt like I was going to die. But it was like a little more intense than I was expecting. And I don't know if like I don't usually get the flu vaccine, even though I probably will for the rest of my life after going through this whole COVID thing. But so I don't know what symptoms people normally get from the flu vaccine, but like for this like COVID vaccine, like on the second injection, I I already started to feel crappy like that night, and then I woke up the next morning and threw up. And I had like definitely had like a low grade fever, and like felt like very fatigued. And I think I threw up again that day too. But so like,
okay,
I don't want to scare everybody. Okay, it's not like it was awful. I wasn't gonna die, but it was like definitely like not in my head symptoms. Like
totally.
I was not imagining it.
Well, before you go on, I too just want to say, based on my research, I've seen about 20 to 25% of people will get side effects, but I mean, it's better than actually getting
COVID.
And that was what I read a piece for the UT, like an opinion piece kind of explaining like my reasoning on that too. Like I would rather have the symptoms, I would rather like, because to me, like, okay, it wasn't comfortable for that day, no, but like I had symptoms, like I know I probably have the vaccine, like I know that it's probably working or I wouldn't be having symptoms. Like would much rather be in that situation than not having the vaccine,
Totally.
So
definitely.
So you would say your side effects were, after the first vaccine, you kind of had a fever and chills. Yeah. And after the second vaccine, you threw up twice.
It was not fun.
Any other side effects?
No, and it was I was fine after. Like it was really just like that first like day after, and then like after that I was totally fine. So again, like not like uncomfortable, yes, but like not awful.
So what if you did get the placebo? Would Moderna give you the option to get the actual vaccine now?
Yeah, I just found this out a few days ago, when they sent an email out to all of us as the vaccine was going through FDA approval of like what the next steps were. And so yeah, it turns out that even if I did get the placebo, I'll have the opportunity with to well, first of all, to be unblinded to find out what which one I got. And they you don't have to do that. You can remain blinded if you want to, but they give you the option. And obviously, like I want to know. So
Yeah.
like if I find out I have placebo, like give me the opportunity within 1 to 2 weeks to get the actual vaccine and still be followed in the study anyway, which is really good, obviously really good. And I wasn't even expecting that. I kind of figured that I would just have to wait if I had the placebo. But yeah, no, I will have the opportunity to get vaccinated.
At
So
first, when you got it, when I heard you were in the trial, I thought you were insane. I
why?
was like, what the hell? Like, but now looking back, I'm like, you were kind of smart because
I
you
know.
got paid to get what everyone else is going to get for free or is going to have to pay for.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, that was kind of my thinking. Is just like like why, like again, like why, like really, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, the whole like being concerned about it didn't even really cross my mind. I was kind of surprised when other people later started being like, "Oh my god, really? Like that's so risky." I'm like, I mean, again, not really. Like it's got, this is like the third phase of trials. Like they're administering it to 30,000 people. Like they're fairly confident at that point when they're giving it to that many
Mhm.
people that it's not gonna
Hmm.
like immediately kill you. So
And I
Yeah.
think that's a really good perspective because I think like it's easy to like I understand the nervousness and the apprehension behind being like, well, like we don't know, like this is new, how
mhm.
they make it so quick, blah blah blah. But it's like this is science that has been in the works for years and years and years, and they just like I don't know, I don't understand science, but like they were able to figure it out because of past research. So it's like
Yeah,
that's a good perspective that you were like, yeah, why wouldn't this work? Like this
yeah.
is they've literally done the science behind it.
What would you tell people who are like on the fence of getting it or not? What would you tell them to try to convince them? And like overall, how was your experience with it?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say like, okay, and again, like, I really don't want to like scare anybody by saying my symptoms. I'm just trying to, express like
Yeah.
honestly what happened. I don't want people
Mhm.
to be surprised. But like, it you if you can get the vaccine, you really need to get the vaccine. Just this is like a serious issue that's impacting, it's killing people in our country. It's impacting, there's kind of this perception that like you can't like you have to choose between COVID and the economy. But the it's just the fact that coronavirus is still spreading
Mhm.
is impacting our economy. So if that's what you're worried
Hmm.
about, then get the damn vaccine.
Mhm.
So like symptoms are not fun, but it's much better to live through, like it's like one day of your life, like you'll get over
Mhm.
it. And much better to actually have the vaccine at the end of it. And I also don't mean like obviously like if you're more of an at risk person and they're telling you, that you could be at increased risk for side effects, then okay, in that situation, then yeah, like follow whatever advice you're getting from medical professionals. But for the most part, like people in our age group, like it's totally worth it. The discomfort is totally worth it. You know?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Definitely. And AOC did a really good story of her getting the
Yes.
vaccine. And she was saying, like, people who are pregnant, you fill out like a whole kind of survey before taking it. But people who are pregnant and people who are under 16 are going through trials right now. So there'll be more information on that soon. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, most people watching this will be able to get the vaccine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at
By
some point.
June, right? We should all be able to get it by June. So
Mhm.
hopefully
Yeah.
people take your advice and get it.
Yeah.
Woo! Well, thank you so much for joining us, Will.
Yes, of course.
It's always a pleasure.
It's
Yes.
always a pleasure to have you.
Show the mug one more time.
Oh my God.
And he's a Gilmore Girls stan, so we're probably gonna do a Gilmore Girls episode one day. I'm just throwing it out there.
We
We should just like
should.
round out like a whole bunch of people that watch the show that like Gilmore Girls. We should just like have a major like discussion.
Oh, I'm so
That would
oh
be
my
awesome.
god,
Would
yes.
you guys be
I'm
down?
so
I would be
down.
down.
Okay, next year, 2021.
Yes, it's coming 2021. Well,
Well,
thank you
thank you
so much,
again.
Will.
Thank you.
So, yes, now we are talking about our biggest stories of the year, or at least our favorites, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, what a year. What a week, what a year it has
What a
been.
year. Wild.
So, I mean, first of all, we have to talk about this historic election.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank God.
literally, like, so, yeah, thank God. But like, so many, like, the amount of people who voted was absolutely unprecedented.
Incredible.
Incredible. I mean, we were all glued to our TVs for like a full week, glued to CNN, like watching the people. I was like, how do they do the board thing? But like with the
oh my god, and the guy from NBC or MSNBC with the
is his name like Steve something?
I think so, but with the khaki pants, that guy's a legend, a hero, an American hero, if I say so myself.
Yes, and I got to watch plenty of Chris Cuomo, so I loved it.
God. She loves him. And it was just nice because I feel like everybody had been talking about the election, and obviously I feel like because of COVID, things were a little bit, this was a different election cycle or season, but it was just nice to like finally see light at the end of the tunnel. You know, this was such a gray year, I think, for a lot of people. And so just to see like, I mean, just to know that like, wow, we're going to have a new president and like, hopefully next year turn this thing around as far as COVID goes and stuff. It's just, it was a highlight.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say like, I was feeling pretty hopeless for a while. And as soon as Joe and Kamala, I always like make it consistent because I always say Kamala, so I'm like, gotta say Joe too. As soon as they got elected and as soon as we heard all the news about the vaccine, I was like, wow, like we can get through this. And hopefully, I mean, the numbers are still scary, but hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel, it seems like.
Yeah, I agree.
So what was your favorite story of the year?
I mean, you guys, I think everybody knows my story. The Kardashians.
I knew it. We were texting about it last night and I was like saying the stories that I was thinking and I was like, she's going to say Kardashians. I know it.
Yeah. I mean, and I have two favorite stories having to do with the Kardashians. The first one is the show ending. That literally hit my soul so hard. Like I wasn't expecting it because they had just announced that they extended, like they were going to be on for a couple more years. So then when they're like, just kidding, we're ending, it like genuinely felt like I was going through a breakup. Like genuinely, like I like wanted to call out of work. Like it really shook me to the core. And then they like kind of flip it on us, right? And then they're like, hey, we're gonna have a show on Hulu in 2021. And I'm like, what? Okay, thanks. It's a Christmas miracle. But also like I knew that they weren't done. I knew they would do a show in a different capacity in a different way. So I'm really excited to see what this Hulu show is going to be about, what it's going to focus on, if Kendall and Kylie and Courtney are going to be in it a lot, or like, you know, I can't
wait. Definitely.
And what was your last story?
Yeah, my favorite story. Okay, I know TikTok was around last year, but literally the rise of TikTok this year, I feel like it literally came at the perfect time because everyone was quarantining, everyone's staying home. Like we want this human connection. Yeah. And it was just so fun. Like I feel like it took over in a good way because I remember when Vine was around in 2013, 2012 when it first came and everyone was making Vines all the time. Yeah. And I felt that like excitement of like creating something that's like silly. Yeah. Because everything's so curated nowadays that I feel like a lot of TikTok, you can be silly again.
Exactly.
Okay, what was your favorite like TikTok trend or dance or whatever? What was your favorite?
Savage. That was the first TikTok dance I learned. Like I kind of knew the Renegade, but I never like sat down to like learn it. And I was like, okay, I'm learning the Savage dance.
Yes, that was my first one I learned too, I think.
And the WAP.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that one. Yes, the one where you get on the floor and you're like, yes, I love that one. I love the Savage remix dance too. The like left cheek. I would get up and do it, but I have sweatpants on. So
someone asked me in the Q&A what song's gonna go down as like iconic from this year, and I put WAP as one of them and Savage remix.
Yes,
I agree. Those will go down as iconic.
I think so too. Well, okay. We asked on Instagram what you guys' best news of the year was. But first, Emily, what is yours?
I have two. So the first one is getting nominated and winning an Emmy.
Yes! And it's right behind you right there. I hope you all have noticed throughout this whole year so far.
Yes, my baby.
Oh my gosh.
Proudest moment of my life.
It's our third co-host, honestly.
It's our third co-host, yeah. She doesn't have a lot of input. She doesn't really talk a lot, but she just adds a little extra shine.
Yeah, she looks pretty.
Thank you. So this was like honestly the best thing that like ever. But besides that, it was starting the show, because it was just like, I think we've talked about doing a show together for a really long time, and it never happened, and now it did, and it's like so fun doing this every week and talking to you, and it's really fulfilling and like fills a void that I feel like was missing in my life. And so it helped give me purpose again. Does that kind of sounds depressing, because it like I had purpose before, but like it helped give me extra purpose. What was yours?
No, I fully agree with you. This doing this show was definitely one of the highlights of my year. And it's like every week I look forward to doing it. And I'm glad you're a part of it with me, and I'm glad everyone listening. I'm glad you are a part as well.
Yeah, so thank you to everyone who supported us so far. We are very grateful, and more great things are to come next year.
Yes. Okay, now let's get into one more thing. I got a cat too, and I love her.
Oh my God,
that was my other good news. She's so cute, Dory. She's an Aries. She's so cute. Okay, now we'll read all you guys' submissions, because all of them are amazing.
Yes. So I will start. Dominique Vitti said she finally started taking Spanish lessons, and she didn't get COVID, and neither did her family.
Yay! Kristen said that my baby sis moved home, and the other was able to have a grad ceremony.
Yay! Albert Ramirez said he quit his miserable ass job.
Yay! Megan said nominated for an Emmy and got my fitness in check too.
Yay, that's super exciting. Trying to play it cool said getting a 4.0 this past semester.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so good. Kayla said, I found out I'll be going to the Olympics for work. That's awesome. That's so cool.
That's freaking dope. Olivia said, I graduated college. I'm a first gen grad, and having family there was everything. That's really beautiful.
Janae said, I came out as gay this year, and I learned to love myself in all the messy parts. That's amazing.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you, Janae.
Yes.
Catherine said she got engaged.
Yay! And then Christopher said, started at a new company where I've met amazing coworkers.
Amanda Rivas said she got her puppy.
Yay. And then Ajago are verified. I'm sorry.
Asia.
Asia Gore. I was going to say, sorry if I messed that up. They said, I got a new job where I feel fulfilled and appreciated. I remain safe working from home.
I love that. That's amazing. Jack, one of our number one fans, said vaccine and graduating college.
Woo! And then Megan, one of my best friends, said, I found out what I want to do with my life career-wise. That's awesome.
I love that. And our final two. So my sister, Dania, she got married during the pandemic. So woohoo! That's freaking awesome. And Linda Martinez said the election results and COVID vaccine announcement.
Yep. Amen.
So, I mean, these are all pretty great, from quitting your job that you hated, getting a new job, and loving your coworkers. That's awesome. Or just staying healthy, getting married, getting engaged. So thank you for sharing all your good news with us. It's so great to hear that even though this was a really tough year for everyone, I think in some ways, for some more than others, you know, there's always a silver lining. And I'm glad that we can still think of some positives and some wins from this year.
Definitely. Oh, well, thank you all for sharing this year with us. And we're so excited for even more to come next year.
Exactly. So we're going to be taking a little break. We're going to enjoy our holiday. So we will be back the first week of January. Yes. I can't think of the date on top of my head, but
I know. I'm like, it's somewhere, one of those.
But in the meantime, don't forget to follow us on social. We're starting this new thing on Instagram, where every Wednesday at 8:30 we're going to go live. Alex and I are going to go live, and we're just going to answer some questions or just talk about some of the hot things. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. We are
at What a Week Show, and then on Twitter we're at What a Week Show _, same as TikTok.
Exactly. And of course, you can always watch us on YouTube. It's What a Week with Alex and Emely, or you can be a Patreon for us if you want to donate and show us some extra love. The link is also going to be on our link tree and our YouTube for that.
Woo! Well, thank you all so much. Happy holidays. I was like, what am I saying? Happy holidays. We love you all.
Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.